You guys know that I'm always trying to bring to you all the best beaten ups around with extensive reviews most of the times. But from time to time a dubious game falls on my lap and honestly sometimes I don't know if I should review it because the game is clearly bad and I don't like to trash other people's work just for a laugh. However, it is from my knowledge that many of you rely on my reviews before picking a game, and in this case a cheap game like this one can be very tempting, but hold your temptations, because I wanna show you something. Hi, I am Savino, and this is the Flying Kick. Furry Fight Gangster of the City is a game. I usually start with the story in my reviews, so there's no real reason to do it differently here, but instead of telling you, I rather show it. Yep, that's it. The game has no story whatsoever in-game. If you wanna learn your motivations, you will need to read the description on the eShop, and this is what it says. Violent crime lords have taken over the city. Defeat them and bring their underlings to justice in this excellent beaten-up action game. I mean, I'm not here to say that every beaten-up should be the Citizen Kane from its generation, but the extremely lack of effort here is outstanding. Not even a simple text screen telling you the story of the city or even its name. You just hit start, pick one of the 4 characters and hit the town to face your enemies. As is the case with the story, graphically the game doesn't offer much. This is clearly a game that uses assets from the unit store and the developer did little to change things here. It used that typical and cheap low-poly visuals, which is rivaled only by those games that copy Minecraft style. I mean, there's nothing inherently wrong with low-poly visuals. Some games can achieve amazing looks with only a handful of triangles, but this is not the case here. Here you got the basic visual and lighting that comes with this template, and the developer did almost nothing to improve it. Even one of the characters can be found easily in another Switch game. Enemies are the most varied and in the worst sense possible. You have only mundane enemies that look like regular people that should be walking on the street and not as thugs that are taking over the city. You got housewives, businessmen, old people, any model that the dev could put his hand on is an enemy in this game. The only redeeming quality this game has graphically is that some of the backgrounds are large and with a lot of life happening in them, like in the city, but sometimes you have boring ones like this one. Oh, see this futuristic scene with flying cars and neon signs that is somewhat good looking? Not in the game as far as I can see. The developer for some reason also left the edges of the triangles visible in the game, which does not look good in my opinion, making the game look even uglier or maybe unfinished. And, as expected, the sounds aren't better either. From the intro music to the in-game tracks, all you will get here is some generic music probably taken from a pack of songs. The trailer song, by the way, is called Goat, a song that I already heard in low-budget games, and it was the only one I went out of my way to find the name. The others, as the character selection screen, are probably from the same pack, and you can even listen to the music being abruptly cut in the end before restarting the loop. I mean, the lack of care in this game is impressive. It seems the developer simply bought a bunch of assets and simply threw it into the game without even looking or listening in this case what they were using. The sound effects are also pretty pathetic, to say the least. See if you can listen to them, because the game has no option whatsoever, meaning I can't turn off just the music, only mute the entire game. Again, my impression here is that the dev bought some SFX spec and was happy with the cheapest and most common one and called it a day. Which is the same they did with the almost 50 levels in this game. Yes, the game has around 50 levels that will take around 2 or 3 minutes to beat. After beating a level, you are transported to the next without any indication of a level changing, except for the backgrounds. Since there seem to be no bosses in this game, look, I didn't finish it, okay? My masochism has its limits, but the impression you have when you change levels is that you are just advancing to a new area at the current level. I had to reach level 3 to notice that I was in fact advancing through the game and not only in that particular level. And the levels have no rhyme or reason to it. One moment you are in a big city, then you are in a forest, then back to a different city, and so on, like a collection of pre-made levels thrown together. And that was the same impression I had with the playable character. As I said, you have 4, and despite their stats being different in the character selection screen, they are basically the same. They have different moves, but it doesn't really matter here for reasons that I will talk a little ahead. And they are a weird cast. You have Maria, that looks like a librarian or something. Harvey, that is the same model that you can find in this game here. Sophia, who I would say is a street dancer, I guess. And Boris, that I rather not talk about because reasons. After choosing your character, which really makes no difference, you are thrown into the first level and the so-called combat begins. Yes, you can say this game has a combat system, after all you beat people on the street and then can beat you back, but that's the best I can say about it. Your arsenal is made by a kick button, a punch, a block that is completely useless, a jump and a run button. But you won't be using most of these because they are all in the end useless. The only move you need in this game is your kick, no matter the character you picked. The kick's range is good enough to keep most enemies at bay, and even though you will take a few hits mainly because the hit detection is atrocious, it will be enough to take you through the almost 50 levels of this game. Your block, as I said, worth nothing. It's mapped to A, and your kick and punch mapped to X and Y respectively, so to block you have to stop your attack and move your fingers to A, while in more competent games this defensive move would be on the R or L buttons. Your punch is also pathetic, having almost no reach. You will be taking hits after hits while your character clumsily tries to hit back. Your aerials are also pretty useless since the gravity in this world is way weaker than Earth. Your character will fly high up on the screen and too far ahead, making hitting enemies a chore. And finally your running attack that can be useful against bigger crowds, but trust me, you will have to fight bigger crowds only if you want to. Thing is, in this game, all enemies spawn right at the beginning of the level and they keep waiting until you are in reach to start moving and attack. If you try to run across the level, all your enemies will wake up and start hunting you, in line, like a bunch of lemmings ready to jump into the sea. Which says a lot about the AI of the game. Your enemies have no tactics, strategy and any other synonyms you want. They simply walk in line and try to hit you while you kick them to death, and that's it. Look, I could go on and on, but at this point I am at 1,400 words in, and I think this is more effort than the dev put into this game. The game isn't good and I can't see it improving with feedback because I really doubt this is a work of love. You can find many beat'em ups on Steam with the same visuals, same characters, same moves, same. I bought this game mainly because it was $2 and to show you guys that if you see a game with these visuals, honestly, don't buy it. Unless you hear somewhere, like here, that the game is good, what you end up getting is a random collection of assets and little to no effort. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoy it, especially these guys over here that really wanted to see me suffering. I will be back tomorrow, believe it or not, with another cheap game that I found this time on Steam, and the review would be up today. But I really wanted to talk about this one first to prevent you guys of making the same mistake as I did. I hope you all have an awesome Saturday. I see you all tomorrow, and remember, keep it up.